as long as, can I just go ahead and finish that off? I didn't even know what girls' state was. They have girls' state and boys' state, and I'm not quite sure. I think the teachers select who they think should go. And when I was a senior, myself and another girl, Jerry Pond, were the two from our school that were invited to girls' state, and we went to down to Idaho State College campus, and we stayed in the dorms, and it was a week-long thing when you studied government and you elected, you were in cities, and the cities were in states, and I was elected as a mayor of whatever our little city was. I ran for governor but didn't make it. And then I think the governors went on to something nationally, I'm not sure. But anyhow, if you look in my belongings when I'm gone, and you see a little pin, white pin, with the shape of the state of Idaho, that was a little pin I got from Girls State, so that was quite an honor. And in high school, I went out for the plays. I never ever got a leading role in the plays, but I always got the second supporting role for the girls. And so that was a lot of fun. We had clubs. They dissolved them, did away with them sometime after I graduated, but they had two pep clubs. The Deeks, Delta, Epsilon, Kappa, and I can't remember the name of the other one, but there were two of them. And you got elected as you came into high school, and we came into high school as ninth graders, and I didn't even know anything about those clubs. But there were 7 of us in our, that were best buddies in junior high school. We called ourselves the Lucky 7, and we would do things together. We would, sorry parents, but nobody told us you shouldn't do things till you were 16. So we would have our innocent little parties and each choose a boy that we liked, and there was no pairing off, but we had little parties through junior high school. But I think the reason I got into a club was perhaps because I was in band. So who were all my band friends? The girls. They knew me because I was in band, and they were the members of the club, and they invited. They only had so many, I think 7 or 6 or something like that. The Deeks was a little larger club than the other one that I can't remember the name of it, but 2 of our 7 were elected to the other one, and then 4 of us were elected to the Deeks. And unfortunately, one of our good friends didn't make it, but eventually there was an opening, and she was able to be invited into the other club. And we would have a dance every year. We would do fun things. We were a service organization, and wisely, later on the school dissolved it and just had a pep club that anybody could belong to, instead of being these exclusive kinds. But I was president of the Deeks my senior year, and was a feature editor on our newspaper. I wrote articles all the time for our school newspaper. And my senior year, my junior year, I was invited to be on the yearbook staff. And another girl and I, we traveled to BYU with our advisor, with a couple of boys too, for a conference, and getting ideas and learning how to put together a yearbook. But the girlfriend and we had been part of this group of 7, and we both wanted to be editors, and selfishly, I didn't want to stand back and let her do it because I was doing a lot of things, but I just loved to be involved. So we were co-editors of the high school newspaper, and I tried out for student body office, I tried out for student body secretary, but I didn't make it. I think kids thought I had enough going. And my senior year, they started a girls' drill team, and I was on the girls' drill team, but I was drum major of the band too, and I just had too much going, so I quit it. at the middle of the year because I was not that interested, but they would perform at the basketball games. So I was involved with everything that I could be involved in high school, and succeeded at it all, and felt very much a part of the whole thing. And yet, if you looked at us financially, I was probably one of the poorer students, money-wise, of the whole group, because my mother then was a single mom and worked so hard for low pay just to make ends meet. But she always saw that I dressed nicely, that my hair was permed, that I presented myself well. I'm sure a great sacrifice to her, but I always felt on a par with everybody else. I never felt inferior. And a lot of kids, some kids, I won't say a lot, but some who probably, if you match dollar for dollar, were better off than our family was, and they were on the edges and didn't feel like they were quite up to par with some of the others. But I was a good student. I was active. I was involved with everything. I had good friends, and I always felt first class. Thanks to my mother. Thanks to my wonderful mother who made me feel special always. So those were happy years.